This is Toledo Symphony Lab, a behind-the-scenes look at the world of classical music from WGTE Public Media and your Toledo Symphony. I'm Brad Cresswell. Joining me today are the Toledo Symphony's president and CEO, Zach Vassar, principal second violin and artistic administrator, Merwin Sue, the director of education for the TSO, Rachel Zeithamel, and we also have a special guest in the TSO production manager, that is Tim Lake, who is making an encore appearance. Tim, you were last here for our special on the Indigo Girls, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, welcome back.
Thank you.
Today, the topic of discussion is all about Christmas on the road. This is the time of the year when the TSO does a lot of local concerts and brings a lot of Christmas cheer and music to various members of the community. And there are a lot of things going on right now, but who wants to take the lead and sort of give us a primer on what TSO does this time of year? Everybody's pointing at you, Rachel. Oh, hang on a second. Let me get you.
I hope there's sleigh bells.
There you go.
Oh, yay.
I feel like I need to donate to the Salvation Army right now.
Yeah, wait, I can do a little better. Hang on, I can do even better. A little holiday cheer music.
See, this does make me feel like I'm in a Muppet movie.
Isn't that every day for you, Rachel?
There's your cue, Rachel.
Okay.
Can you do it in a Muppet voice?
No, you really don't want that. So we have actually already started this wonderful time of year. We are going to have 25 concerts in 25 days. And we are in the just beginning of that right now.
So is that one concert per day? Is that how it works?
Well, that's what it averages out to, but several days have multiple concerts. Merwin wants to talk.
Okay. Your turn, Merwin.
Well, we have two Nutcracker performances on a single day, for instance, and we take Mondays off. Usually we'll have a couple of times when our chamber orchestra is playing in a couple of different venues. So it does balance out that it is one per day, but, some days feel longer than others.
Yeah. It's kind of like doing a Broadway show, where you've got 7 shows a week and you get one day off a week.
Well, it's a lot harder on our production team than a Broadway show because they get to stay in one venue. We have 18 different zip codes that we're covering in that 25 days.
Yeah.
Wow, you've got a lot of numbers.
Yeah.
Different zip codes. That's something
And
I've
we
never
also-
Tim
counted.
really just started to sweat when you said that.
I've never counted zip codes.
Tim is sitting here with his calendar kind of like frantically going through all the,
I'm like, wait,
the
we're
dates
doing
there.
what? Holy cow.
And the thing is, he's not even awake.
Yeah.
No kidding.
But no. You have told Tim about all these concerts, right?
We try to let him know one concert at a time. Just take this one day at a time.
Exactly. Yeah.
So tomorrow's not going to be so good for you, Tim.
Yeah. Well, I know there's a concert tonight, and there's a lot of concerts coming up, and people can check out your website because I've noticed those concerts are on the website, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So that's ToledoSymphony.com.
Mm-hmm.
Tim, how you doing this time of year?
We're pretty good. Morale is a huge thing, going out there and just pushing through. Like, I guess I didn't count venues. Zip code is pretty close. So 25 and 25 days is, that's a load, and it takes a ton of preparation ahead of time as well. But for the most part...
I was really hoping you would do a Muppet voice, but that's okay.
That's where you went to?
I was so prepared to do that. What we do is hard, but there's a reason for it. And you play little games with yourself as far as like you're a marathon runner, right?
Absolutely.
You count certain things that are important, and we count down to one another, and it works. Caffeine and Wi-Fi is great. It keeps us in touch. So
That's right. This entire show, we should have a sponsor, some sort of caffeine delivery
Actually,
system.
I just thought Caffeine and Wi-Fi, the Tim Lake story, would be a really great title.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
like it.
Why don't you tell us just a little bit about what it takes? I mean, we perform in so many different venues. Not all of these are traditional concert halls. So I see your doodles on your desk. You have a lot of schematics for where you're performing. I know that you have a lot of little pieces of wood that you use to balance things.
Yeah, we do.
Take us behind the scenes and help the audience
That's
understand.
like cutting-edge technology, a little piece of wood.
Yeah.
It's a step above duct tape, I have to say.
Are you making a pun? A little piece of wood is a step?
Step above. Yeah.
I am now.
Yeah. What Zach's referring to is a lot of these. I mean, no one builds a church 100 years ago knowing that I'm going to show up tomorrow. And so not all of these spaces are designed simply to put an orchestra in, let alone get an orchestra in.
Yeah.
So, yes, we have drawings, some churches that we've played for years and years. And, there are file folders of, bad dreams and cocktail napkins and plots and just ways to make it work. You know what I mean?
You're so poetic in your description of this endeavor.
But ultimately, you're putting a full-size orchestra in a sanctuary, day after day after day. And it's truckloads of platforms and what Zach's referring to, tiny little pieces of this is specifically meant to go here at this specific church.
Yeah.
Little gap fillers and things like that. And they're all built and they're all labeled and they're all
It's like
held out.
assembling
Well,
a
actually,
set.
I've got a great story about one of the labels. So I was sitting with the associate concertmaster, Taya Prokes, on one of these little pieces of wood, and we looked down, and on it says, "Bad riser." And I'm like, this is not a promising situation. So we put it on Facebook because that's what you do in an emergency situation, right? Is you make sure
take a
social
picture
media
of it,
knows.
yeah.
That's right,
And
yeah.
Just
then,
in case if anything happens to us
exactly
later.
right.
Exactly.
You know what happened. And then 45 minutes later, we come back and it says misunderstood riser instead. The power of social media.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm
and
kind of
I remember
disappointed
seeing
that it didn't fall through, but
No,
that's okay.
It was
Yeah.
perfectly safe.
It was
felt-
perfectly safe.
Yeah, we felt perfectly
Yeah.
comfortable.
Someone had felt it necessary to take a Sharpie and bad riser, don't use this one. And anyway, it went out there, and I get on Facebook during the first half, and I'm just looking around, and I'm like, oh, really, Merwin?
So are you the one that went and
Oh yeah,
corrected it?
It was great.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Wait, but who put Bad Riser on there in the first place? Do we know?
I don't know.
You don't know. Oh.
Meaning I do know.
Yeah.
So how much planning goes into this sort of thing? Do you finish one Christmas season, you're like, okay, now we got to start thinking about next time.
Well, no, you don't necessarily think about it right away. There's a little recovery time, but yeah, it does. Christmas is its own season. I mean, it's kind of always out there, and it's always floating around. There are always things to think about for it.
Yeah.
You do, some churches start asking you when you're coming, December 15th. They want to know in July because they're having their meetings. They're doing things like that.
Oh, yeah,
So, I mean,
sure.
this stuff always comes. Christmas always comes and goes. And it's genuinely its own season. It's the thing that you're thinking about.
Merwin, give us a little bit of a perspective from somebody who plays in the orchestra. Do you see all this behind-the-scenes stuff going on?
Absolutely, but I don't think we really understand the magnitude of it. I think I get a little bit more of a sense of it because when we're programming the concerts, you make a programming decision and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's going to have a production ramification.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, this particular chapel wants to do a version of the Hallelujah chorus. I bet you that's just going to be 4 or 6 people. Oh, no, wait, that's 50 people. Surprise! And that does change the stage setup just a little bit.
Excellent.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's our Hallelujah chorus right there.
Oh, that's nice.
That's the best we could
Sounds
do.
about right.
But it's a huge challenge because these venues, of the 20, we're doing 21 venues in these 25 days. Only 2 of them are actual concert halls.
Yeah.
So we're rigging up these different locations to make this work, and it's always really fun.
And the thing that always makes me very impressed is that if we're doing a rehearsal and then a performance on a different day, if these are not typically concert halls, they're usually churches. Churches have to do something by day, have mass or a service. So we have to set it all up, do a rehearsal, tear it all down, and then come back in to do it all over again. And I think the hardest one is honestly the Messiah, which is happening this weekend, because the rehearsals happen sporadically during the week, usually at nighttime, and the entire Rosary Cathedral has to go back to being a church by day. So I remember at least last year, I don't know if that's the case this year, but there was an entire rental truck that had the Messiah in it.
Yeah.
It was just kind of parked out
I'm
behind
sorry,
the building.
that just sounded wrong.
Rent a Messiah.
Yeah, actually,
We deliver. We
That's not
will
what I
come to you.
The logistics behind the Messiah, Zach's absolutely correct. It is an in and out for a rehearsal, and it's a 150-person chorus.
Yeah.
So that's a huge build, plus the orchestra. And it is, it's a second truck.
But you guys, you sort of know what you're doing at this point, right? I mean, how long have you been doing these bus and truck runouts during
The
holidays?
orchestra's been doing them longer than I have, so I've inherited a lot of these builds and
Yeah.
a lot of these setups.
But it's been years for you, right?
From 14.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as far as like the other side of the curtain goes, people coming to these concerts, they're not going to see any of this. So we want to make sure that they know the blood, the sweat, and the tears that has gone into each one of these concerts before they sit down and enjoy the fruits of your labors.
And I don't want to say that we're here to complain. I think that this is something that we're all very proud of.
Speak for yourself.
One of the great things about being a regional orchestra is that we, as Merwin likes to say, orchestras have feet. We can go out into the community. We aren't constrained to one building, and we have a wonderful heritage of being active in the community and performing all over this region. And we spend a lot of time at the Peristyle and the Stranahan, the Valentine, but we also spend a lot of time in a bus going out throughout the region and to Michigan, to different parts of the state. I think we do one concert in Indiana. It just really shows the value of a regional orchestra.
Who here rides that bus? You ride it,
I ride
Merwin,
that
I know.
bus.
Have you ever been on that bus, Rachel?
I have not been on
I
the
have
I
not
bus.
been on the
sometimes
bus.
ride on the bus.
Well,
it's fun.
question is, what's the atmosphere on that bus? When you
It depends
guys-
if you're going to the concert or coming from the concert. And that's all I'll say.
Okay. Well, going to the concert, I imagine, is a little more focused and
It is.
restrained than
It
coming
is,
from the
definitely.
concert, right? Yeah.
It's not like cramming, though. I don't see anybody like nervously flipping through the score to figure out where their entrance
Yeah.
is. But there's a different just a different level of emotion going in versus coming out.
I was thinking more of like, summer camp and Merwin at one point is like hand check and everybody, make sure there's nothing funny going on there.
I don't think that's anything like that.
No?
Accurate.
I got the wrong idea.
You-
Is that what
you
you're
do.
I think
saying?
you do.
Okay.
But
Well.
I think one of the things that is actually pretty impressive is that a lot of times when an orchestra is doing an extended Christmas run, they do the same show every single night. And we customize our programs to work with presenters to make sure that they each have a different experience. So a lot of times we're going through the music going, okay, let's make sure we're doing this is the music for St. Joseph's Catholic Church in Slovenia tonight, as opposed to, that's for Grace Lutheran Church in Fremont on Thursday. Those are slightly different programs, and we want to make sure that we show up on stage with the right piece of music in front of us.
It's a massive challenge for our librarian, Ray. He has to have every piece of music ready for every program that we do, and make sure that he has extra copies because somebody's inevitably going to have the wrong folder.
Yeah.
And he's at all of these.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Yeah. It takes a village.
Well, it
as
takes
they
a great
say.
library.
We typically use assistant librarians who are musicians in the orchestra or who have orchestral backgrounds. And at one point, there was one particular year where we were actually shipping music to a total of 11 different conductors that year. And so we were preparing, the one constant in this season is that we're always doing Sleigh Ride as the encore.
Yeah.
And so for a program like number 16, I just put encore, Wagner, Parsifal. Just, and this poor conductor
That's kind of a Christmas story. That's more Easter, really.
That's more of
but
an
it's-
Easter
yeah.
story. But this one conductor received what he was expecting, plus a gigantic Wagner opera, and thinking, wait, what? He called me. Oh no, that actually happened. And we actually paid to ship Wagner's Parsifal too.
That's just a testament to the efficiency of your librarian.
There's
right?
not a reason why.
Yeah. Now, did he know that was a joke, and he sent it as a joke, as a follow-through?
It would have been a
or-
pretty expensive joke. I would think that the shipping costs doubles just because of that extra score.
Yeah, but you got the bill for that one, right?
I try to block these things out.
Well, while we're on the subject of Christmas, I know you have Christmas at the Peristyle coming up, and I want to get us into the Christmas mood. I mean, it's not too early, right?
Not at
We're
all.
coming to you on the 28th of November, and anytime after that if you're listening to the podcast. But a lot of radio stations have been playing Christmas music now for weeks and weeks and weeks, right? For months and months and months. We don't necessarily do that at WGTE, but we're going to have a little Christmas quiz. I put together a quiz for you guys, and this is a movie quote quiz, Christmas movie quote quiz. Let me get a little music up here for us. Whoops, that's not music.
Sounds
Well,
like
we can use that.
Quizmas.
Oh, Quizmas. Nice.
Excellent. Okay. So the way this works is you are trying to come up with the title of the movie. There are different movies, of course, for different subjects, remakes, that sort of thing. So some of these are a specific remake of a particular movie. Okay. And I have 3 quotes, so I'll give you 1 quote. They get progressively easier as we go along if you can't get them.
Do we have to answer in the form of a question?
Only if you want. That's fine. It's up to you. So here's the first quote for the first film. Kids these days so desensitized by movies and television. Anybody got it?
Nope.
What is Christmas Story?
Quote number 2. Max, grab a bag. We'll come back for the rest.
What is The Grinch?
Which Grinch?
The Jim Carrey version.
That's right. Way to go. Yay.
Wow.
Okay, second one. My speech. Here's my Christmas speech. Ahem. Thank you all and Merry Christmas. Anybody got that one? Here's the second quote. Leave comedy to the bears, Ebenezer. No?
Muppet,
Yes?
well, Muppet Christmas Carol.
Yay!
Right? Okay.
You have to say.
Don't sound so excited, Tim.
I was guessing. I was scared to speak.
And
That's
you
all
didn't
right.
even answer in the form of a question or as a Muppet.
Nope.
Yeah. I was really hoping for the Muppet voice at this point. Okay, here's I almost said the title. Here's the next one. It's Christmas Eve. It's the one night of the year when we all act a little nicer, we smile a little easier, we cheer a little more.
Elf.
No, I'm sorry. That's not right.
Aw.
Here's the second quote. All day long I listen to people give me excuses why they can't work. My back hurts. My leg aches. I'm only 4. Anybody know what movie that is?
No, I want to watch it, though.
Okay, final quote. Acid rain, drug addictions, international terrorism, freeway killers. Now more than ever, it is important to remember the true meaning of Christmas.
I feel like these are all from Network, and that's not a Christmas film.
Close. You're actually kind of close. Rachel's like, it's on the
it
tip of my
Scrooge?
tongue. Scrooged.
Yeah.
Scrooged.
Yes.
Yes.
There we go.
Scrooged. Next one. Some men are Baptists, others Catholics. My father was an Oldsmobile man. Anybody got that?
This one is Christmas Story.
That's right.
Yeah.
Excellent. Christmas Story. I didn't even have to say you'll shoot your eye out. Okay, here's one. That's it. I forgot to close the garage. That's it.
Are you speaking from the movie, or are you remembering that you left the
no.
garage door
Is that
open
Home
this morning?
Alone?
It is Home Alone. Good job.
Not shut out. Yay.
You guys are just breezing through this.
Is that Catherine O'Hara in the airport?
No,
it's
that's when she's asked.
yeah.
They forgot something.
Yeah.
They're trying to figure out what it is.
Yeah.
You got obscure on this, Cresswell.
dad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's the next one. Well, if he hasn't figured out he's a human by now, I don't think he ever will. Anybody got it?
No, I got nothing.
Here's the
Elf?
second one. Hey, yes!
You're just going to keep saying that. so
I
that's
am.
right.
Yeah, it had to be in there
I
somewhere.
love the next quote, though. You sit on a throne of lies.
Oh, that's one of
Oh,
my
yeah.
favorites.
Okay, here's the next one. Haven't you ever seen a talking snowman before?
Frosty?
It's too easy to be Frosty.
Yeah, that was too easy. Here's the second one. This fog's as thick as peanut butter. No? How about, she thinks I'm cute?
Oh, this is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Very good.
You have to say
Wow.
it. She thinks I'm cute, and he turns around and flies into the air.
Okay,
Not
next
that I've
one.
watched it.
A man doesn't get in a situation like this every day. This is kind of an old school movie.
Miracle on 34th Street.
I'm shaking the dust of this crummy little town off my feet, and I'm gonna see the world.
This is It's a Wonderful
Wonderful
Life.
Life.
It's a Wonderful Life. That's right. And of course, the other quote, we can all say it together. Every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings. So we're just making angels here. With this
Mary, we're
jingle
going
bells.
back to Bedford Falls.
Yeah. Okay, this one is difficult. This
It's
is
Jimmy Stewart. That's good. We're all going to do Jimmy Stewart from here on. No,
Oh,
as a
no, we're
Muppet.
not.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you can do a Muppet version of Jimmy Stewart, you win the podcast today.
Mary, where?
What? You can't do that, Zach. You're just talking now. Sorry. No, that wasn't good. I thought that was pretty good.
I thought that was excellent.
Yeah,
We should boost that sad
that was
trombone up an
something
octave.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow. This is how technology gets abused, kids.
That's right. There's something.
Wait,
you know,
we just all did terrible Jimmy Stewart impressions as a Muppet Jimmy Stewart, and that's how technology gets abused?
Oh, that's a good point.
I still argue that mine wasn't terrible. But
No, yours was
it's
actually
funny,
very
though.
good.
I mean, okay, here's the next one. This one is rather obscure.
Wait, they all have.
This is a movie made in 1947, okay? Here's the first quote.
I have it down to 6 movies.
Sometimes angels rush in where fools fear to tread. That's an Alexander Pope quote, but it was actually said by an angel in this movie. Second quote. For some time now, every time I pass the cemetery, I feel as though I'm apartment hunting. Great lines in this film.
Mm-hmm.
The last one, there are few people who know the secret of making a heaven here on earth. You are one of those rare people. This is a film that starred Cary Grant. David Niven was also in it. He played an Episcopal priest or bishop.
Is this,
We need to prolong Zach
angels
back.
have wings, or I'm not getting it. It's
This is the bishop's wife.
Bishop's Wife. That was my 9th guess.
1947. Yeah, very good.
Which is the one with Barry Fitzgerald? Well, we'll come back to that.
Okay. Well, you've got the Google there. You can check it out. Okay, the last one. Let's see if you can get this one. December the 25th.
That's the quote?
That's the quote.
Okay, this
Okay.
is Christmas Vacation.
Here's another
I'm
one.
sure that those words were said.
Here's another one. Thank you very much.
this is not helpful.
Die Hard.
Die Hard. That's a Christmas movie.
Die Hard's a Christmas movie.
And
It totally works.
finally,
Come out to the
I
coast.
hate people. Did nobody see the Albert Finney Scrooge back in 1970? These are song lyrics. Remember he's saying, thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's the nicest thing that he... Okay.
If you'd have sung it for us, we'd have all gotten it.
Yeah. I did not keep score at all, so I don't know who won the quiz.
I did.
Obviously.
Yes, Muppet Jimmy Stewart won the quiz. Give him a round of applause. All right, back to business.
So, Brad Creswell, when you want to go and inject some Yuletide cheer to your family, what movie does your family watch?
Oh, well, Thanksgiving we always watch Christmas Story, right? And when it's Christmas, I mean, we watched Elf the other night. We generally go through a whole slew of movies that the kids gravitate toward. They went to go see the new Grinch movie, which they thought was great. So,
But which one makes you harken back to, like, this is the one I want my children to know is like a very special movie?
Star Wars, definitely.
That's actually funny because
Wait, are you serious?
I always think of the Harry Potter movies as Christmas movies.
Yeah.
There's always a Christmas scene, and that to me is I've never seen most of these Christmas movies.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah, you're right.
yeah,
Though.
mostly work
Because you're playing 25 concerts in 25 days.
and so it's nice to actually not have Christmas music in the Christmas movies. So
I want
Harry
to see.
Potter works really
see
well.
that movie. 25 concerts in 25 days. Right?
It's a follow-up to 4 Weddings and a Funeral.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised that we didn't hear any White Christmas. We didn't hear any of these kind of classic
Yeah.
snowfall memories here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to make my own movies.
How about you, Rachel?
White
Wait,
Christmas has my favorite holiday quote in it. I think it's one of the Bing Crosby's where he says, "Oh, the holidays. The whole world gets a day off and we do a double."
That's right. That's
And
exactly from that.
Is that
yeah.
is it?
yeah.
Yeah.
I love
That's
that.
how you feel during all of these concerts.
Sure,
Right?
sure.
It's one of those movies I feel like the production team was very involved in the script writing because it actually feels very much like the sort of we're going to do this. It will be very special, but we're going to complain a lot about it. Not that that's what production at
No,
Toledo Symphony
no.
does, of course.
No, we try not to. I'm surprised I'm here, actually.
Yeah, I'll sign your your leave request after this.
We've got just a couple of minutes left, but I did want to ask you, I'm curious about organizations or churches or what have you that want to get the Toledo Symphony at their place. I mean, how does that happen? Do you keep going back to the same organizations, or do you get new people? Is there a form to fill out? Do they have to pass a test, Christmas quiz, something like that?
Normally, it usually ends up being very successful. So we go to a lot of the same places year after year.
Yeah.
But we're always able to add in more. And if not to our Christmas run, we'll be going out. We go out throughout the entire season.
So next year it's going to be 30 concerts in 25 days.
That's my hope. So please, everybody out there. So you email me, call me, Rachel. That's me.
Okay, I'll call you Rachel.
Yeah.
Please, call her Rachel.
But it is, I want to say that it is challenging for our presenters. I mean, we do hundreds of shows a year, and so it's hard for our production team, but we're used to it. But these churches, maybe they do one big production every year. So that's why they start thinking about it in July and harassing us for information, because it's a big deal. And they're often they'll provide dinner for the musicians and the crew, and it takes a lot of work.
So basically, I mean, how much they grease your palms in the form of food and no.
But I mean,
does matter,
she
though.
is right, and there is a certain level of gratitude that the production team has to extend to every single venue, because we're not easy. We're not a 4-person, bluegrass Christmas band. I mean, there's a dang lot of people and a lot of stuff that's got to get in there, and we need help with it. And what's really cool is a lot of the collaboration that happens with Rachel, and the facility and Merwin and the programming, and then sending me off just to go take a visit, see if I like the coffee. And no, that's not exactly the case. But, I mean, to see if it's possible. And almost always the answer is yes.
I will forever, every time I hear you talk, think of Muppet Jimmy Stewart from now on, I have to say. I'm seeing it right now. And now I'm thinking we need to do a Muppet remake of It's a Wonderful Life. They haven't done that, right?
No.
Yeah. Well, okay. Maybe we'll sign.
Mary, it's all about coffee and Wi-Fi these days.
Okay.
Let's finish on a sentimental note. Some people may have noticed that the Toledo Symphony has made a small change to their logo this year in celebration of its 75th anniversary.
Right.
We added an apostrophe S, so that we're referring to ourselves this year as Toledo's Symphony. We went back in our archives and we look at all the different places we performed over 75 years, all the different theaters, all the different churches, community centers, some of which aren't around anymore. And we realized that we've really been in every little nook and cranny of this area. And this is the time of year where we really get to celebrate that, to see how far we go, how much we do, all the different ears that we touch with our music. And I think that at this time of year, with music that means so much to so many people, music means so much at this time of year, it's really a privilege to be making this great noise.
Wonderful. Well, there's still time. I think there's still a few seats for Christmas at the Peristyle, right? That's happening this Saturday, and that's at 3 o'clock p.m. Handel's Messiah, however, you may have to sneak in the back to see that show, because that's pretty much sold out. And, of course, there are plenty of other events happening for the holidays. You can find all that information at the Symphony's website, ToledoSymphony.com. Call up the box office. That number is 246-8000, of course, with the 419 area code. This program is a production of WGTE Public Media in collaboration with our sponsor, the Toledo Symphony. You can download episodes of this program as a podcast by going to our website at wgte.org/lab. You can also subscribe to us through your podcast app of choice, including Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts. My thanks to Zach Vassar, Merwin Sue, Rachel Zeithamel, and Tim Lake. I'm Brad Cresswell. You've been listening to Toledo Symphony Lab here on FM 91.